Oh boy, oh boy. There we go. There it is. I mean, really, Jake, would you expect anything different from the first time that I'm back doing a show in over 2 weeks to not mess up?
Maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't have abandoned us here on Game Changer Sports Network for 2 whole weeks.
Well, guys, that's the pent-up.
My dogs aren't happy. Nobody's happy that you abandoned us for 2 weeks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the pent-up aggression of a Mr. Jake Jollymore. My name is Nick Lombardi, and I want to welcome everybody of the Game Changer Sports Network community and family to Squared Circle Talk, your favorite show for wrestling. And of course, guys, I hope you enjoy all the programming we have here on the Game Changer Sports Network. Every day, there's something interesting to watch. And Martin says, hey, at least he's back. I feel the tension, guys. I decided to go get a little, sobriety, a little, clarity. I go up in the mountains of Lake George, New York, and I come back to this tension. But guess what else is new?
Tonight, while I'm yelling at you because all your opinions are wrong, it's out of tension and anger that you abandoned us for 2 weeks. Not because you're wrong. You're wrong because you're wrong.
Apparently, I owe Frank Andy over here a text back, which I'm now realizing that indeed I do, and now I feel kind of bad. I'll get you back in the hour once we're done with the Square Circle Talk.
You doing good? So you go away for 2 weeks and you forgot how to talk too?
I did forget how to talk, actually. Yes, that's very true.
This is just a wild episode.
Listen, man, I've been by a lake a lot, man. You don't have to worry about talking when you're by a lake.
A lake. Maybe, just maybe, you should go to a lake more often.
I should. Maybe I should go to a lake more often. Maybe I should go to lake of reincarnation, which we'll get to, Mr. Matt Hardy, later on as the show goes on. But
I would hope so.
Well, Jake, we have an action-packed show today, and now, as I understand, since I've been gone, we have made the show into 1 hour, which makes it truly must-see, because you're going to get so much stuff in just this 1 hour right here. And look at Mike Rosa saying, it's been so long since I've seen that pretty face. I thought you saw Jake last week.
I was going to say, we were just on a show together last week. I feel offended now.
He's talking about 7 days. This face, baby. He's talking about this face.
That face is all right. It's okay.
This face is all right. Well, you guys had an awesome show on Saturday last week for All Out, AEW's premier pay-per-view. And Jake, I think I'd be remiss not to start the show with talking about the fallout from All Out. In general, Jake, I want your before we get into the nitty-gritty of stuff, what are your thoughts on All Out? Was it successful? Were they able to weather the storm of all the bombardment that WWE gave fans with content just before their show?
All right, so I'm going to start out by saying, let me be the first to tell you that these marathons that we do of watch parties, towards the third and fourth hour, you have nothing else to talk about. And as it gets later and later, I'm falling asleep at 11:45 at night. My bedtime is strictly 10:30.
Are you suggesting it was just it was a lot of energy to push this thing through in this latest watch party, Jake?
It was a lot, especially when I didn't have Nick and Andrew to fill up a lot of the talking time. I had Matt and Martin, who are both very quiet people.
Well, Matt and Martin are watchers, man. They want to see what's going on and analyze it very, 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 very critically. So they're not loud.
Now, the most important detail of that watch party is right here. We met Luther's wife.
We met Luther. First of all, Luther's got a wife. That's awesome.
Yes, I said the same thing.
Second of all, we got to meet Luther's wife. How wonderful is that? What other thing? And hello, Mr. Ethan Clark, Mr. Andrew Frank is on Twitch. Guys, real quick, as a little side note here, make sure you are watching us on Twitch. Go to Twitch, please. That's where we really need the help here. I'm not going to pull up your second comment there, Andrew, because you got a little aggressive there. I don't know, man. Me, Nick, and Andrew had a lot of fun. and Nick says, that's rude. I have feelings.
All right. Are we going to talk about wrestling or are we going to shoot the shit?
I think we should talk about some wrestling. So, Jake, once again, let's now get to the actual show itself. How did you feel AEW did? And as I mentioned before, they had a lot to work against. WWE had SummerSlam. They had Payback. They had some very action-packed weeks on NXT. How were they able to handle all of that, mixed with the fact that their regular scheduled programming got all messed up due to basketball playoffs? How do you think they did?
This was 100% the worst pay-per-view AEW has put on.
I have to agree. I mean, I had a chance to watch it. I watched it in bits and pieces. I didn't watch it all at once. But when I look at the card, when I look at things that happened, I went, man, not the greatest response from AEW. And it's hard. I mean, they've been doing very well. They've been doing really great. They've been doing good, to great shows consistently. And that's a dog.
I didn't even know she was in the room with me.
I don't know if it's a metaphorical thing there, Jake, but if it's saying that it was a hairy beast of a show, I'm not entirely sure what you're trying to suggest, but definitely, it definitely came off a little rough.
Yeah, so, I mean, there were high spots and low spots on every single wrestling show has them.
Mm-hmm.
But the overall match quality wasn't what you expect out of an AEW show.
Yeah.
I mean, the Mimosa Mayhem match turned into just a metric shit show, and I didn't like it.
And let's start with that one. The Orange Cassidy obviously took on Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho ended up losing the match. Obviously, you think good thing for Orange Cassidy because he's easily one of the most organically popular people on their programming. And Chris Jericho's going to do what Chris Jericho does. He's going to make everything as entertaining as possible. But is it possible that we're getting to a place where we're almost pigeonholing Orange Cassidy and that he's only going to be successful in these hokey style encounters with people?
No.
Because of how hokey that match was.
No, that I don't agree with. Orange Cassidy is going to be a superstar. And it's really, you always have a gimmick match as the last match in the feud. End of story. And whatever that gimmick match may be, whether it's a Hell in a Cell or a Mimosa Mayhem match, it's the last match in the feud. Orange Cassidy really showed his abilities, his skills, his promo on the mic with that second match.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he got pigeonholed with the Mimosa Mayhem. It just wasn't as good as it should have been.
Yeah,
but Orange Cassidy's wrestling ability was great.
I mean, listen, I had a good idea that Jericho was going to lose that match. I think it was set up that way. I don't think Jericho is hurt by this. I don't think Orange Cassidy is hurt by this. I think he's getting helped. I just fear because I do think that Orange Cassidy is actually a very gifted wrestler. And he doesn't need, over-the-top gimmicky things to have a great match. I thought, personally to me, one of my favorite Orange Cassidy matches is him versus Pac at Revolution. Because it was, A, so unexpected that he was going to perform like that. But B, I was just so invested. I knew he was going to lose, but I was so invested in him going against Pac, this brutal dude, against a guy who just couldn't care less. I only want great things for Orange Cassidy and stuff, so I hope that, maybe they kind of shrug off this not-so-great match and they just keep going with some awesome momentum. Since we're on the subject, what was your favorite match of the night, Jake?
Thunder Rosa and Hikaru Shida stole the show. Almost got it. Still didn't. But they stole the show.
That's what I took away as well. I mean, I thought that if you're talking about what was the best wrestling match, I think those two knocked it out of the park. And I mean, obviously,
that video package was the best thing we saw on the entire night.
It's true. 100%.
That video package was by far the best video package we've seen in 2020.
I mean, it was definitely up there. I mean, we always would criticize. I always criticize other wrestling companies because I say to them, man, dude, WWE has you so beat with your production every way humanly possible because their production's not just it's quick, it's informative, it's clear, and it gets you emotionally invested. But I thought that did the same thing, especially for somebody that's not an AEW person coming in. It was this idea of this is big time. It legitimized that women's division that has been needing a lot of that.
Not only that, but they even brought in Nick Aldis and Billy Corgan to do that video package.
Right.
For that, just those two alone, to be brought into an AEW pay-per-view, even for just a video package, is huge. No, that is the AEW World Champion and the owner. Oh, not AEW, sorry, NWA. And the owner of NWA, now in a video package with the NWA Women's Champion, who, in all reality, they are your competition.
Oh, yeah.
So,
especially with the women. especially with the women, because the women have the only competition right now AEW has to prove. The biggest problem that we've been talking about for weeks and weeks is their women's division. They got to get that under control. They got to get it fixed. And a part of that is showing that their women can stack up to other companies. And you bring in a Thunder Rosa, who is the champion of NWA, and you show that Sheeta is kick-ass and can take on the best in the world. And I think, honestly, she proved that. I think people that have been a little down on Sheeta, or maybe people thought that she was a little stale, that's, to me personally, that's out the window. This is a quality champion that you can build a division around. She's not just a placeholder for a big signing or a placeholder for someone else to get, for Britt Baker to get back in the main event. That's not what this is. She is a quality wrestler that can hold her own.
So, can I give you my number one high spot of the night and my number one low spot of the night?
Please do.
My number one high spot of the night was Matt Sydal being the Joker. My number one low spot of the night was Matt Sydal botching the shooting star press.
That was...
Don't get me wrong. I can't do a shooting star press to save my life, so I'm not going to sit here and make fun of him for botching it. God, no.
If I had 1,000
it was scary.
If I had 1,000 tries, not a chance.
Okay, at 1,000, I am athletic. I could probably get it at 1,000, maybe number 1,000, but it would take me to that point just to be able to flip that much.
Right. It's and listen, I mean, everybody botches. Everybody in the history of professional wrestling, no matter if you're John Cena or Alex Riley and everything in between, you've botched before. It happens. People slip, and especially when you're a guy who's a high flyer. There's a reason why they always say, the expectancy for disaster is 10 times more likely because you have such little room for failure when you're going on the top rope. He was overexcited. I believe, Sean Spears in the face, gets in there, and it looks like, oh, here we go. And, ooh, that looks like it really hurt. Listen, thank God he's okay. Honestly, thank God he's okay. There's a million more chances for him to do a shooting star press. And just like as Martin's saying here, glad Sydal's not injured. I completely agree. I think there's going to be plenty more chances for him to do well there.
Can we just talk about that real quick? The Matt Sydal being the Joker?
Well, so now interesting. You think that is a high spot of him being the Joker?
So, and this is the only. Don't get me wrong. I personally love Matt Sydal. I loved him as Evan Bourne. Absolutely love him as a wrestler. So, yeah, maybe I'm a little biased because I do really enjoy his work. Mm-hmm. However, if you looked at the names that it possibly could have been going into the event, Matt Sydal wasn't even a blimp on the radar.
Oh, it was a surprise. It was a surprise.
You absolutely was able to surprise you with that.
But now,
and in 2020, being able to surprise somebody is actually really hard.
I agree with you there. I think the surprise factor is definitely important. Mike Rosa making up a very good point. They're doing a pay-per-view in Florida outside with humidity. It wasn't really his fault. I mean, I do agree. I think that probably has something to do with it there. Luther brings up a very point. He says, I liked MJF and Mox and Sheeta and Thunder Rosa. Those matches were outstanding. We'll get to the Mox and MJF match.
We're going to save Mox and MJF for the last piece of our AEW talk for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. But I will tell you this, Jake. I have heard people say that they feel that Tony Khan is getting into a rhythm of over-promising things. Because to be fair, if he had just said, listen, we got a fun little surprise for you. We got a fun, we got a really cool signing. This is going to be really cool. He went out there and was like, this is an enormous signing. This guy's a household name. You're going to be surprised. He's a household name to, like, people that like AEW. I don't know.
Whoa.
I don't know if I would say he's the biggest, like, acquisition he could have signed for it or something like that. He made it. I just think Tony Khan oversells things a little bit, Jake.
I disagree. No, I disagree. On this specific one, he does, but not on this. Matt Sydal is a massively household name in the wrestling industry now. After he left the WWE and went to Ring of Honor, went to New Japan, no, he is definitely a household name. He's not. And if you look at the free agent market right now, and let's be real, I honestly thought it was going to be Nick Aldis just because of the NWA relationship and the Thunder Rosa match. Right. Honestly thought it was going to be Aldis. I didn't know that he said that the person had actually signed with AEW at the time.
Well, he might have said that it was maybe not, maybe just for the show. Maybe it wasn't actually exclusively.
So, but if we're looking at free agents, we're really only looking at bigger names than Matt Sydal on the free agent market right now. That's it.
I mean,
there's the free agent market. The second biggest name is Matt Sydal.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: one of the most talented ones that you get for a reasonable price. I mean, unless you're going to give stupid money to certain people, this honestly was a good. I'm not saying it was a bad signing. I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little down, but I don't know. I was like, oh.
I think you're letting your views on the overall tone of the show impede your judgment on this specific thing.
What I'm afraid of is I don't want Tony Khan to get into a rhythm where he oversells things.
I don't want Tony Khan to become Dixie Carter.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I do not want the Dixie Carter syndrome. Especially the worst part of the Dixie Carter syndrome is when you sign people who you have no business signing. Why is that person here? Why are they getting a title shot? Why are they your champion? Why are they on every week? That is a very scary, and it's a very easy place to go to, because if you have indisposable income, if you know you can get a pop in ratings, if you know it's somebody that people know enough that they'll talk about it, it's very tempting to do something like that. I want to pull up another comment here. Mike Rosa saying, I'll be honest, I didn't even know Matt Sydal was even born until last year, a year and a half ago at an ROH show.
How?
He says, I'm sorry, I keep talking. I just want to be with you guys. Oh, Mike, we love you, man. We miss you.
You should have been here, but you had to work.
Clinton's got a big one. Clinton, I have missed you, man. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm going to say it. If I don't put Lance Archer over Moxley, I'm done with AEW. Straight up. Archer needs to win the title. He can't lose to Moxley twice. He lost his New Japan title. He can't lose in AEW. I think Archer needs to go over. So now, since we're talking about it, and we are talking about the match that Matt Sydal was in, we had the Casino Battle Royal, and we have Lance Archer win. Honestly, what are the things we've been talking about that we've been critical of AEW? Women's division and how they've been handling the big guys. And here we are, specifically people we talk about a lot is Brody Lee and Lance Archer. Brody Lee, they took care of. They corrected that, in my opinion. They go overboard, but they corrected it. You now do this with Lance Archer. Jake, do you agree with the idea that Archer needs to go over and become a champion? Or do you think he could take another loss?
I think if booked correctly, he can take another loss. Specifically to Mox. Only because Mox legitimately just won PWI's Wrestler of the Year.
He did.
He is the hottest he's ever been in his career. So taking a loss to the number one guy in the world isn't exactly the end of the world for somebody like Lance Archer. But they have to book it correctly. They can't just let Mox bash him in.
Well, they cannot do, Jake, what they did with him and Cody. It's not.
Absolutely not.
You cannot do that. Because how that ended up playing out was a disaster, as far as I'm concerned. That was only detrimental to him. He did not seem like himself, doing a lot of matches on AEW Dark. Who gives a crap? Now he gets the chip. That's fantastic. I don't want him to also be another Brian Cage. I don't want him to be Brian Cage, where he's got on his team. He's got the chip. Okay, this looks like it's going to be a good fit. And he loses in not so great fashion. And this is kind of sucks.
I don't mind him losing if he beats the shit out of Moxley.
But would you be mad if he beats Moxley? I'll follow up with that. Let's now go on the flip side. Lance Archer, next pay-per-view, beats Jon Moxley for the world title. Are you mad?
I don't think... I almost said Moxley. I don't think Archer's the guy. Your world champion is going on people who make you money. Archer is not going to make you money at this stage.
Well, okay, so but let me point out this, and this is something that I talk about a lot with Jon Moxley, is I think he's a great chaser. And I think in wrestling, there are people who are awesome chasers. People who go after titles and make more money going after titles than they do accumulating them.
Let me just make it clear that MJF should not have lost that match.
Okay.
On that point of what I just said, where the guy that makes you the most money is your champion. MJF should not have lost that match.
And I guess we'll just get there now. I was going to say the same thing, that really, to me, the body of work that MJF has been doing, I don't know how the decision was not for him to win that match. I don't care if he cheated. I don't care. I mean, I understand the finish with him. He misses it. He got the ring knocked off, and I guess the what the hell is it? The paradigm shift was supposed to be on the ring or whatever the hell it was, and that was it. But I really do think, just like Mike Rose is saying right now, he should be AEW champion right now, because again, the bullying to me is an MJF holding on to that belt with like the whites of his knuckles and a viciously psychopathic, obsessed Jon Moxley tearing his whole world apart around him to get back that title. And I think that you could even do that with a Lance Archer. But since we're talking about it, Jake, was it a missed opportunity for MJF to not win the title?
Absolutely. MJF was the predictable winner. Again, they went with the swerve. Nobody expected Moxley, with the way it had been going, to actually win that match. Now, I do see the potential for a rematch because the paradigm shift was banned. He used the paradigm shift to win.
Right.
So now we get the rematch. Now you get you get another layer to the story, and you get two matches out of this, which is also money.
Right.
In the order that I would like it to have been in, no. But Moxley versus MJF 1, okay, Moxley wins. Then you have Moxley versus MJF 2, MJF wins. And when we get to Moxley versus MJF 3, you have the no-holds-barred match, and MJF goes over.
Should it be MJF's got to take 2 losses, though, Jake?
No, MJF takes 2 wins.
You're saying he wins the next one, wins the belt, they have a third match, and at that one, he cements it that I'm the champion, go off and do other fun things.
Correct.
Okay.
However, we're getting Archer in the middle of this now, so...
Right, well, and
that leads me to believe that Archer doesn't win the title.
So now, obviously, the Game Changer Sports Network has become sentient because it just made a comment. So we don't know who this is. It could be a mystery person. We don't know any who the person who said this. But they said a very interesting comment. Archer can be a monster without a title, but Archer needs to prove to Moxley he can beat Moxley. And more than that, Jake, I think that AEW need to prove to us that Archer's a legitimate person. I get it. He won the chip. And they were able to correct everything with Brody Lee and the Dark Order by, having them come in and him just murder Cody Rhodes. But I don't think you can replicate that twice. I really don't. I think you need to, again, have another big win for Archer before I'm, totally behind him going into the feud with Moxley.
So the Casino Battle Royal wasn't a big win?
It was a big win. I want a big singles win. I want a wrestling match win.
Give me Archer versus MJF. Would you count that as a big singles win?
I think it would count. I would count it as a big singles win. And hello, Brandon. Brandon, it would not be a show about wrestling if you weren't here. So I'm so happy you're here.
So let's move away from that real quick and get to the.
But then I don't want MJF anymore, though.
No. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that level is what you're looking for.
Right. So yeah, I want a high-profile match.
All right, so we're almost a half an hour in already. So I want to move to the tag team. I'm going to call it the tag team mess.
Okay, real quick, just before we do that, last comment on this. Meg Rosa brings up the point: Mox versus MJF versus Archer. Quick yes or no to that?
Yes.
I agree. I don't have a problem with it either.
That's money. That is a money fight.
So now let's get to the tag team division here. Obviously, we know who our new tag team champions are. FTR with Kaz Wheeler and Dax Harwood. Very interesting thing to note. If you've noticed since Cody's been gone, they haven't been doing the 4 thing. They've been doing the 3 thing. Makes you think. I don't know. Maybe they're just having fun.
Are you by chance trying to imply that a trios title could be on its way?
I'm either implying that or I'm implying that a Mr. Cody is a lot closer to these guys than maybe he lets on. But let's get to that match. Let's talk about it. I'm happy because okay, go ahead.
Let's not start with that match.
You don't want to start with that match. You want to move on. You want to go to the 8-man.
The Young Bucks versus The Jurassic Express.
Okay.
So basically, that was a number one contenders match without being called a number one contenders match. Just want to make that very clear. Tony Khan was literally on Busted Open Radio and said, yeah, whoever wins this match is probably going to get a title shot.
But that
number one contenders match.
But that doesn't make any sense to me, though, because isn't the whole point of the ranking system is that you don't get matches like that?
No, they're both in the top like 3 in the rankings.
I'm looking at the rankings right now.
Or top 4, maybe.
Well, so right now, Jurassic Express is not in the top, is not in anything.
That's probably after was it updated today?
This is the latest one. This is September 9th. September 9th has it.
So they were.
But
understanding that they were in the rankings last week, but now with the loss at All Out, they are not.
Yeah, because right now you have it as the champ. FTR is obviously the champions. Behind them is Omega and Hangman, technically still as number one contenders. Then behind them is Best Friends. Down in the 3 hole is the Young Bucks. Behind them is Natural Nightmares, and then below that is Santana and Ortiz.
So in reality, all this night did was set up FTR versus the Young Bucks.
Oh yeah,
that's all it did.
Well, that's the match, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's the match we've been waiting for.
Can we just dream for a second? Because we're good. Yes, they were. Can we just talk about after we get FTR versus the Young Bucks? Can we imagine fantasy booking for a second a 4-way tag team match where you have FTR versus the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros versus Proud and Powerful?
But Jake,
there's nothing you can say that would not make me pay $1 million to see that match. Give me the ladder match, and I'm even more sold.
But here's my thing. I think that is awesome because it's on paper. It's a super cool match. You cannot pretend that they're not going to do awesome things in that match. What's up?
Somebody's going to die.
Well, obviously someone's not going to walk after the match. That's fine. It is what it is. We know that. And yes, Mike Rose agrees with you. God, I want that. I want that so much. But here's my question. But don't you think they already do enough multi-tag team matches?
Honestly, I don't care. If you're going to give me something of that caliber, that is 4 of the top 10 tag teams in the world. Make it a 5-way, throw the Best Friends in there, and you got 5 of the top 10 tag teams in the world.
Jake, they can't
Oh, yeah.
They can't keep doing that. You can't keep having these. Jake, you can't keep having these over-the-top, insane, circus spectacular matches. Like, if you can't keep doing it, eventually you're going to run out of ideas, Jake. Eventually, there's going to take a rocket ship, an Elon Musk's rocket ship, go up 10,000 feet in the air, and then they're going to have to do just a billion flippy dips until they hit the ground. That's what's going to end up happening.
How many times have the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys versus each other in their lives?
Okay, that's completely different, Jake. That was 3 teams every once in a while. You cannot compare that. Every week we're getting an 8-man tag match or a 3-on-3 or a this or that.
But this isn't a 3-on-3 or an 8-man tag. It's a 2v2v2v2. Every team for themselves. It's not the Young Bucks teaming with FTR to take on Jurassic Express and whoever the hell were their team. I think it was the Lucha Bros that week. That's not what this is.
Lucha Bros or PNP, I'm sorry, I wouldn't even choose the Young Bucks or FTR. Clint, I don't know exactly what you're saying there.
There's no denying that the Young Bucks and FTR are the 2 top tag teams in the world. If you think otherwise, you need to go back and watch some more wrestling.
Look, I don't care what your opinion is about the Young Bucks in general, but if you're going to pretend that you do not want this FTR versus Young Bucks match, you're high. We've been wanting this match for years. We've been waiting for this match. I don't like flippy dippy stuff. I want it really bad because that's going to be good. So please, get out of here with that. Ethan Clark saying, Jake Long, holla, 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 playa. Holla, holla, holla. Sorry. I like it.
And then Hybrid 2 is also back, and really they're flippy dippy. Let's be real. That's all they do.
That's pure flippy dippy. That's like pure flippy dippy. And we are getting spicy. This is what happens when you just leave me and Jake to do a show. This is what happens.
It's really just me and Nick yelling at each other.
That's all it is. That's all it is. That's how you think it's been a coincidence that I've missed the last 2 weeks? I knew when I got back you were gonna corner me into a show just by yourself. I knew all the anger was gonna come out. I knew it.
The something's not even playing right now. Martin's lying to you.
You told them all to go away because you just want to. You see, Jake.
I'm not even at work.
You see, Jake. One-on-one matches are more interesting than multi-man matches. My point has been made. Thank you very much. Okay, now hold on. Glenn says, "Are you serious? Once in a while, my ass Dudley Boys and Hardy Boys feud WWE carried over into TNA." To TNA, and they feuded so many times with gold. I'm not saying that it's those two teams facing each other and over again is bad. What I'm talking about is having multi-man, a billion things happening at once. I don't know. I just think it gets a little messy in those matches. I find myself forgetting it's a tag match, and I just see guys jumping on groups of other guys.
Don't get me wrong. I agree. This 4-on-4, putting two tag teams. The 4-on-4 match was very good at All Out because it was the Dark Order as a whole.
Right.
Versus Cody's friends as a whole.
Correct. Yes.
I'm okay with that. But this putting two tag teams together and making an 4-on-4 just to get them on TV, no, it does need to end. I fully agree. But the 2v2v2v2.
I love Jay, man. He's great. He knows what it's all about. Continue.
Jay is a member of the Game Changer Sports Network family, and we need to get him on show sometime soon.
I do think so. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Jay is a good time. But no, as you're making a point, so let's agree to that at least. The 4-on-4 has been overplayed. Can we at least agree to that?
The 4-on-4 throwing shit together. Absolutely.
Right. That's just we have nothing for these guys to do. Let's just throw them in a match and let's just have them go jump on each other, right? I mean, that's what it is. That sounded a lot more sexual than I meant it to sound.
Yes, it did. Calm down, Mark Henry.
Let's move on. Let's please move on from that. So I mean, with all that said, though, I mean, what did you think of that 8-man tag match? You said you liked it. You know where does it go though with the Dark Order? How does it affect them going forward? They take another major loss. I thought that after he won the TNT title, Brody Lee, the leader, I thought they were going to win. I thought they were going to beat the Nightmare, but they did not. Does this put them right back where they started before he won the TNT title?
No. Because now they're going to tell the story of Colt Cabana. It was all Colt Cabana's fault that they lost. And this is the piece of this story that we've been waiting on. We've been waiting to see, where does Colt Cabana really fit in the Dark Order? Because even as a member of the Dark Order, he doesn't make sense. He's still this happy, hippy-dippy Colt Cabana character.
Right.
And now we're going to start seeing it unravel.
He's not Anna Jay, who's totally changed her character and her actions and stuff like that to fit the Dark Order.
Correct. Now we're going to start seeing this story on play, and this match absolutely had to happen the way it did to tell that story. And if not at this exact event, it was going to be another event down the road. It was a matter of when they wanted to tell that story. I think pulling the trigger on that story now is a good idea, though.
Okay. Now Mike Rose is bringing up an interesting point. He says, well, now we get to see Brody Lee completely murder Dustin Rhodes. I would hope so.
Love it. If Dustin Rhodes wins, then no.
But he's doing it for his baby brother.
No.
But Jake, he's a Rhodes. He's gonna cry and he's gonna bleed. And Brandy's gonna get involved. I know Mike's favorite person.
I would rather see Tony Khan beat Brody Lee than Dustin Rhodes.
I would rather Vince McMahon show up and body slam Brody Lee and give him a 5-knuckle shuffle.
I would rather see Triple H buy his win to take the TNT championship.
Mike Rosa says, throw Brandy in there, let her get back and get bodied. For those that don't know, who are joining us for the first time, our good friend Mike Rosa has a bit a bit of an issue with Brandy Rhodes. Just a wee bit.
Just a small bit. Nothing major.
Well, Luther's saying he's on the Dustin side.
Okay, Luther, I liked you after bringing your wife into it last Saturday night. But if you're on the Dustin side, I don't know if we can be friends, man. I don't know if we can be friends.
I think maybe, you know, I don't know. Oof.
Out of curiosity, are we talking about anything else besides All Out tonight?
No, I mean, we were just rolling. We were having a good time with this.
All right, then let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
I wanted to make sure we weren't on a time crunch here.
No, we're not. I mean, there's definitely other news to talk about. And I think one of those things we have to talk about is the Matt Hardy-Sammy Guevara match. I think...
I want to rant right now.
Let me set it up real quick. Let me set this up real quick, please. So we obviously... This is a feud that's been brewing for a while now, actually. It got a little derailed after Sammy Guevara got suspended for its time period. We already covered all that. We know everything that happened with that. So you finally get this match. The whole thing has been about what Matt Hardy are you? Who are you, Matt? And then we get, and I thought like it was going to lead to just, I'm Matt Hardy. And instead it leads to a Broken Rules match. And I go, okay, that's kind of dumb, but okay. We get the match. And we almost witness a murder, Jake. I mean, straight up murder. And man, oh man, did he not take one of the ugliest spills I think I've ever seen. And with that said, Matt Hardy still ends up winning the match in the end. So I'll say this. I'm going to just say this, and I'm sure you are going to have everything you're going to say about it. Man, stupid decision to have Sammy Guevara lose. And after the way Matt Hardy hit the ground, and as we know, it ended up being that he did the protocols, he's fine. He's actually going to even show, I think he's supposed to show up tonight or something like that. It was, in my opinion, a real Bush League move for that match to continue in the way that it did. But now, Jake, you want to rant. I see, look at this. Look, Mike's already saying I'll literally buy it to dismantle it. We got Luther here, angry face. We got more angry faces. Jake, we want to hear destroy this match, please.
I'm going to start with the easy piece. Let me get out.
Whoa.
Tony Khan runs and operates a fucking football team. And you're going to sit there and try to tell me that you put Matt Hardy through concussion protocol in 1 fucking minute? There's nobody on the world that can pass concussion protocol in 1 fucking minute, Tony.
So let's just for entertainment purposes here, let's just read the tweet that Tony Khan had said, giving the updates on Matt Hardy. He said, an update on Matt Hardy. It's great news. Matt's okay. We sent him to the hospital as a precaution, and he passed the MRI plus CT scans. He doesn't have a concussion, and he's been driven home now. Matt will be on Dynamite Wednesday night tonight to thank you for the amazing fans and support. Now, what's up?
Just reading real quick. I'm just going over the highlights of tonight's AEW Dynamite, where Matt Hardy says he has a concussion and he's going to be out for a little while. Tony, what the fuck are you doing? You run a football team. You know how serious concussions are. Why are you not taking Matt Hardy's concussion fucking serious?
That's all I'll say to that. Jacob, did we lose you on audio?
No, I'm just catching my breath.
Oh, there it is. The oxygen was just not in his lungs. I want to bring up, because that's very valid, everything you said there, Jake. I want to bring up Mike's AEW disappointed me. I would have much rather they just say, hey, we're going to revisit this match at a later day, instead of letting him then talk his way into coming back. How the hell do you run concussion protocol in 5 minutes?
It wasn't even 5 minutes. No, if an NFL player leaves a game and goes into concussion protocol, it's at a minimum 15 minutes before we even see their face on the sideline again, let alone re-enter the game.
As a company that when they started out, their initial press release was, not forget all the safety stuff, it's we want to give you the real sport feel. You know what a real sport feel is? It's taking 10 minutes to say, hold on, we're going to do some concussion protocol here. He just slammed his head on the freaking concrete. Let's make sure he's okay. Like any legitimate sports company would. NBA, hockey, Football, anybody would do a concussion protocol like that. You're telling me for the sake of just moving the show along, you don't do it? And you let Matt Hardy, who has a career of injuries, a career of being held together by duct tape and glue, you're going to not take the safety with him, especially when he's having a match and working a program with one of your youngest, most gifted, and highest potential wrestlers? Come on, Jake.
You're telling me, and the second I saw the X go up from Aubrey Edwards, I knew something was off. I actually missed the fall the first time itself. Now, Aubrey Edwards puts up the X.
Agreed, Jay. You keep going. Put up
the X, and they pulled Sammy out and moved Sammy away.
Mm-hmm.
Brought him up towards the stage, put him in a room. Obviously, neither one of them knew what was actually going on. And that's when they did the concussion protocol on Matt Hardy. About a minute and a half passed. It was a minute and 28 seconds to be exact. All the doctor really is, Matt, do you think you're okay to go? Matt Hardy being Matt Hardy, yeah, I'm fine. And they skip to the end of the match. So if you're fucking fine, why are you doing the end of the match to begin with?
But that's such a Bush League
entire match.
But that's such Bush League bullshit, Jake. That's what people at indie shows that pay their wrestlers $5 do. Hey, bro, you good? Hey, bro, you good? What do you think Matt Hardy is gonna say? You think Matt Hardy's gonna say, "No, man, I can't do it, man."
I knocked my noggin on that one. No, Matt Hardy's not gonna do that. He's a professional. They could have just as easily cut away from that match completely, gone to the next match in the ring, and readdressed it after, because they weren't even in the fucking ring to begin with.
I know. I mean, you really could have done that better. I completely agree. I agree with Jay here saying, unless the instant patch protocol is advanced calculus, Matt Hardy got it within 12 seconds. The test was less than great. I completely agree with you. Oh, look at that, Jake. One of your biggest fans, Jake.
You know, I have a lot of fans. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, someone's got to tell you that line.
Call them the only fans.
What? I leave for 10 minutes? Is that where all these views are coming from, Jake?
Yes! It's about time you realized it.
It's an OnlyFans for dogs. That's all it is. It's just people that want to see pictures of dogs.
I already posted this on Facebook. It's an OnlyFans where you pay $5 a month to watch me tell off Karens.
Is that what it is?
That's what the OnlyFans is.
Jesus, mother of God. Wow. Now, you know what, Jake? Let's get to it. Let's get to the main event, Moxley, MJF. We already talked about certain things elementing from that match, who should have won, and all the fallout. What did you think of the match in general, though?
Overall, it was a solid match. I mean, I'd give it a solid 3.5 out of 5. I don't really – any match that MJF and Mox are both in, they're going to be good matches. They're both good wrestlers.
Right.
And MJF works a very specific Miz-like style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So everything is good. It's just reserved.
Right. No, but that goes insanely well at the character when you're a heel.
I'm fact checking this real quick. That last comment we just got.
Whoa! I'm fact checking.
Wow! And he dyed his hair blonde.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, some breaking news as we do our show. Rusev Machka is all elite. Wow. Dyed
his hair blonde.
I'm turning on my TV right now. I didn't even have my TV on. If you can believe it. I said, it's amazing. I said to myself before I started, make sure you put on AEW behind it so you can see if anything happens. But I went, nah, nothing's going to happen tonight.
All right.
Mike Rose is not happy about it.
He looks really weird.
I'm looking at him right now. Hold on, let me get to it. Oh, no, I'm back to Tony Schiavone and Hangman Page.
Well, you're too late. See what you've done?
No, we're just getting video packages on that. Oh, Mike Rosa, we spoiled you. Oof.
I feel like this isn't really like the worst spoiler to have.
I guess it's not. Oh, he's Saban's best man. Wow. Okay. Well, you know what, Jake? We got ourselves some breaking news, so we got to talk about it now. let's do some fantasy fun stuff right now, real quick. Jake, what is Rusev, or whatever his name is going to be, or whatever he is, what is his role in AEW?
I feel like they couldn't handle putting Kip Sabian on a solo push, so they just gave him another guy.
Well, so with that said, I mean, are you suggesting that Kip Sabian is a bit of a weak link and he's not really that great?
Yeah, he just happens to literally be with Penelope Ford, and
So, Jake, are you suggesting that if Penelope Ford did not exist, that we would not be seeing Kip Sabian on TV?
probably not, in all honesty. Because the Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford dynamic on TV is great. It's fun, it's entertaining, but what is Kip Sabian without Penelope Ford?
So now we got here using his real name, Miro. Okay. I feel like a guy named Miro with a bleach blonde hair like that is like a male gigolo. I don't know if it's really a wrestler.
I'm hoping that's where the storyline goes at this point. What else are you gonna do with it? You have him with bleach blonde hair.
He's like, I saw it Impact Wrestling with their smoke show. So do we. It's different. It's like when you copy your friend's homework and you say, "Hold on, dude, I steal some of your homework," and you're like, "Yeah, man, just make sure it looks different." Just Rusev.
I wanna swing back a little bit. There was a comment that caught my eye, but I gotta find it.
Well, incredibly, the last time I saw Rusev at WWE, it was a marriage storyline. Now he's in another one in AEW. He does know a thing or two about wives, so.
Not the comment I'm looking for, but this one.
The F is strong with Jake tonight. It is. You did drop a
This
couple.
This is a wrestling show where our fans understand why we swear.
Why is it that of all the sports, Jake, it's wrestling that makes us the most angry?
Because we expect too much from it.
Now, Mike Rose is saying, I bet that he's not signed. He's probably just showed up for this.
There it is. All right, I found it.
Oh, you found it. Go ahead. Have fun. So I'm hearing talks of AEW working with Impact.
Clinton, where are you hearing that? Who are you hearing that from? What is your source? I've heard absolutely nothing about this, and all I do is listen to wrestling and football stuff all day.
So let's pretend it's true, Jake. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it would do both of them good. It would do both of them very good. Imagine, give me a 7-match series between EC3 and MJF through both companies.
This is actually real quick. Jay, you're not a wrestling fan unless you hate wrestling. Of course, Jay. Don't you understand that? It's why my friend, I have a best friend who's a huge Star Wars fan. He cannot stand wrestling, but he's a huge Star Wars fan, and he hates it. And he hates George Lucas. And I'm like, you don't understand. That's wrestling fans. We hate everything about wrestling. We hate Vince McMahon. I want to have whiskey with Jake. Just be ready. That's all. Just be ready. Just be ready. Now Mike Rosa says, I think it'd be horrible. I'd rather have AEW partner with NWA, which is
a counterpoint to that.
A more probable scenario.
That is 100% more probable, but I have a counterpoint to that.
Okay.
What does Impact have that AEW desperately needs?
What does Impact have that AEW desperately needs? A women's division.
A stacked women's division.
They
do. Thunder Rosa and Camilla Kane, pretty much the entire NWA solid women's division. Melina Perez does not do what she used to. She's gotten older. She doesn't work in the ring like she used to.
Are you referencing WWE's Melina? Because I know she's signed.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah.
Yes.
No, she's not. Come on. I'm not in the business of calling a woman old, but she's old. So come on.
Yeah. So yeah, you can get a Nick Aldis versus John.
You got a hot take. Luther's typing up something right now. I'm waiting for it.
What's the hot take?
It's coming.
How are you gonna tease us like that? You're like the WWE. You tease us and don't deliver.
Continue.
Apparently, on Facebook, got a glimpse of it. I didn't really stop to read it. Then don't bring it up. If you can't be fact checked and you can't give me
Oh.
sources, don't bring it up.
Oh my god!
And now we're talking about it, but we're wasting time.
Can we talk about there's a guy with his girlfriend in the crowd and she's dressed up like Orange Cassidy? It's fantastic. Anyway, back to what you were saying about Impact having a women's division that could work. Continue.
That women's division is hands down the best women's division in wrestling right now. I said what I said. No take back.
Oh, I mean, I think it's the best booked. Can we say that for the size of company, for the size of the company, and for the way that they're booked? It's the best. Talent-wise, though, Jake, when WWE's a fully operational Death Star, it has the best women.
Never. They're never fully operational Death Star.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
But when they are, but all pieces suggest they should.
Don't get me wrong. Okay. If we go down the list, let's say we make a list 1 through 10 on the top Impact girls and the top WWE girls. Absolutely, actually, no, let's be real. The top 5 in the WWE are head over shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
There's a massive drop-off.
There is.
And to start this, Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace, I'm already putting in that top 5 with the WWE girls. Because obviously you have the Bayley, the Sasha, the Becky, the Charlotte. I'm going to go with Alexa as number 5 on that one, too.
Yeah.
And then I would easily put Jordynne Grace at 2 or 3 when we mash these lists together.
So you put Jordynne Grace over Sasha Banks? You put Jordynne Grace over...
Absolutely 100% over Bayley.
Yeah, I mean, I put her over Bayley. Yeah, Bayley's a great character, not the best of the horsewomen wrestlers.
Charlotte is number 1.
Charlotte's number 1.
Like to admit it or not, Charlotte is number 1. I'd say Jordan at 2, Becky at 3.
Right. But now let's get back to
and Deonna at 4.
Deonna's insane.
She's out of this world. Now that she's out of NXT and doing her own thing, she's out of this world. She's phenomenal.
If there's one thing that Mike Rosa brings up, my favorite person, Shayna Baszler.
Strong drop-off still. She's only good at the MMA style. She doesn't work in the ring that well with the WWE style.
Well, I think there's been a steep drop of how they treated her, too. I think that's a residual effect of how they've treated her since she's come up from NXT. But going back to what we were about to say, I just lost it now. Damn it. I was on something here. No, Deonna Purrazzo. If there's one thing that I am furious about, is what they've done with Deonna Purrazzo if I'm WWE. If I'm Vince, if I'm Triple H, I am punching the air at that when she came out and she did what she did.
She absolutely, and first off, the busted open interview where all of a sudden out of nowhere Jordynne Grace showed up, right there you knew that storyline was gold from the way they handled that.
Completely
agree. Man, that alone made me watch that match.
No, I mean it was a lot. There's a lot of great stuff in there. Watching Joey Janela right now try to wrestle is a little hard, but that's just me. Go ahead.
He is the definition of hokey bullshit.
He just looks. To take a word out of your vocabulary and your sayings. Oh my God, he just tried to do. Oh my God, that was so bad.
I can't wait to hear what you're going to say that I normally say. This is great.
Joey Janela just looks like he smells bad. He looked like Paul Burchill, like during the pirate thing, but like it didn't quite work, and they didn't really know how to give him a costume. It's bad.
Joey Janela looks like he smells bad.
That's the quote of the day, and it's a good match for Chris Jericho to get back into the saddle. Now, Jake, I know your answer from Saturday show. So, Nick, can you build your own company? What you're picking: one man, one lady, one tag team. You know what? We're coming down towards the end of the show. I think it's a very, very fun thing to say. Elizabeth is laughing at us. I think she's finding our comments funny.
I can only imagine what she's actually laughing at this point.
It was like she probably wasn't watching most of the show, and then she jumps in at he just looks like he smells bad. Okay. So, if I'm going to pick one man, one woman, one tag team to build a company around, of all the available people in the world of wrestling right now.
Real quick before he says that, I completely forgot the answer that I gave. So if anybody could remind me, that'd be great. I did it on the spot, and I don't want to fact check myself.
Women's division, I picked Charlotte. Men, this is hard. Because a part of me is saying, Nick, don't be stupid, pick Roman Reigns. But
that's being stupid.
But like a part of me wants to say Roman Reigns, the other part of me wants to say Cody Rhodes. I think Cody. If I'm putting my house together, if I have to bet my house, and I have to make the best wrestling company with only 4 people, which is 1 woman, 1 guy, then the tag team, I'm going to put Charlotte as my number 1 woman. I'm going to put Roman Reigns as my number 1 guy, but my tag team, the best tag team I'm putting out there is the Lucha Bros. I think that they're the
So
best.
you went for money. Yeah, that's a smart move. That's a smart play. I can tell you right now, I didn't take the same play. I don't remember who I took, and apparently nobody else remembers either. But I can tell you that's not the play I would take to begin with. I don't.
Charlotte FTR.
I believe I had FTR in my spot. I don't remember if a guy and girl though.
FTR was definitely a pick. I would definitely pick a tag team from AEW. Best
Absolutely.
Division in the world.
Name a single WWE tag team that even fucking likes each other.
Well, Street Profits like each other.
Apparently. And it's only a matter of time before Montez Ford goes solo.
Stop it. Don't say horrible things like that, for the love of God.
I just did.
Well, Jake, we are down now to the last 60 seconds of our show. We spent most of it talking about AEW. For the last 60 seconds, if we go a little bit over, that's fine. I want to bring up this one point. Obviously, yesterday, big news from NXT as Finn Balor defeats Adam Cole to become NXT champion. Baby, of course, you have to put baby. Real quick thoughts.
Did I really take Angelico and Jack Evans? I kind of dig that move, actually.
Maybe you're falling asleep. I don't know. Jay's saying he'd take Naito, Becky Lynch, and the Young Bucks. Not bad moves either.
Nope.
We are the wrestling coach. You can't go PP yet. No. Anyway, so and Luther says FTR Jericho. No, Luther Jericho and Charlotte. A lot of people saying Charlotte. No people saying Becky Lynch. But Jake, thoughts on Finn Balor winning the NXT Championship? We want to get that into it. We'll save it for next episode. Good move, bad move.
It's a safe move.
I'll give you that.
That's it. Yeah, it's a safe move.
Good job, Gavin. You peed already before the show. No, with everything that ended up happening with Killer Cross, this was obviously the move to do. And you pick somebody who you know could hold on to stuff and, could hold it down. Someone who's a legitimate wrestler and stuff like that, especially with you don't really know what you're going to do with the rest of the show. Mike, go pee. We're wrapping up here. He says, Jamalka saying, sports are awesome. I agree. Sports are awesome. That's why we have a whole week of awesome content for everybody to check out. And
what a transition.
What a transition. It's almost like I planted him here. Guys, we are Game Changer Sports Network. We are simulcasting, of course, on Talk Interference Sports, our friends over at Circus Monkey Sports, our friends over at the Whiskey Hour. We love all of you. Guys, make sure you tune in tomorrow night for our Thursday night double header. You have Inside the Ice from 8 to 9, and you have Behind the Basket from 9 to 10. We know you're going to have a good time. Gavin's saying he needs a beer. I think I need a beer too. I don't want to know what Mike is dripping. I'm hoping that it's just water from the faucet. And with that said, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope you like, share, and make sure you follow us on Facebook so you always get a notification when we go live.
And Twitch. We want you to follow the Twitch.
Follow us on Twitch, guys. We really appreciate it. Have an awesome show. Oh, wait, hold on. We have to remind you that we will have 2 interviews after both shows on Thursday. We got a really
it's one interview. It's one interview after the shows on Thursday and one on Friday, I believe.
It's a 3-for-1 deal, Jake. One day, 3 awesome pieces of content. It's going to be great. We're not talking about the Yankees right now, Luther. Bye-bye.